It is early morning. Life is beginning anew in the narrow, crowded streets of Rome. The smell of fresh bread wafts from the bakeries. Shopkeepers open their stores, and thousands of people leave their homes to start the day. Beyond the gladiators, emperors, and bloody wars, have you ever looked at the daily lives of the ordinary people who made Rome what it was? Come, let's take a journey through a typical day in Rome, from dawn to dusk. In Rome, the day began with a simple breakfast. For the poor, this was usually bread moistened with water and a little cheese. The wealthy started their day with a more varied but still light meal. The main meal would be eaten at the end of the day. As the sun rose, the Forum Romanum, the heart of Rome, began to come alive. Most people made their way to the Forum, the heart of the city. The Roman Forum was not only a marketplace, but also the political, commercial, and legal center of the city. It was where the pulse of Rome beat. The early hours of the day were when the rich and powerful citizens, the patricians, received the poor and dependent citizens, the plebeians. The plebeians sought their protection, asking for help, food, or work. They usually worked in daily jobs, sometimes waiting for hours to find work. This was one of the most fundamental elements of Rome's social structure. While the wealthy listened to court cases, engaged in political debates in the Senate, and conducted their business, life for the poor consisted of hard physical labor and working as porters. Merchants set up stalls, and farmers sold their produce. Olive oil, wine, bread. Everyone was in a rush. When midday arrived, the baths were where all roads in Rome led. Roman baths were not just places to bathe. They were the heart of the city's social life. The wealthy and middle-class citizens frequented large facilities, such as the baths of Caracalla or Diocletian. These baths were not just places to wash, but also areas for socializing. Filled with hot water pools, cold water baths, and massage rooms, they were one of the most enjoyable moments of the day. The poor preferred smaller public baths. Sometimes they had to make do with just cold water. The bath complex consisted of various sections. First, time was spent in the palestra, where exercise and wrestling took place. Then one would start sweating in a hot room. One would enter the hot water pools and finally cool off in the cold water pool. Sometimes the bath experience lasted for hours. Inside, people would chat, gossip, discuss business deals, and even engage in philosophical debates. Baths were a social meeting place for Romans, relaxing both body and mind. This ritual demonstrated Rome's spirit of hygiene and community. The end of the day came with dinner or cena. It was at this time that the class differences in Rome were most apparent. While a poor family's table usually consisted of oatmeal, vegetables, and bread, the tables of the rich were a feast. The rich held banquets, reclined while eating, and enjoyed luxurious meals that lasted for hours. Exotic food such as peacock, sole, and even shrimp were served. The tables were laden with grapes, figs, fish, and wine. The main course of the feast was prepared with garum, a fermented fish sauce that everyone enjoyed. These feasts were social events where poetry was recited, music was played, and people enjoyed themselves. After the meal, the entertainment continued. People went to the theater to watch comedies and tragedies. The wealthy usually sat in private boxes, while the poor took their places in the crowded stands. The plays were lively and enthusiastic performances that reflected the spirit and cultural richness of Rome. But this life was not the same for everyone. An ordinary day in Rome was experienced differently by each class. From the early hours of the morning until nightfall, every activity highlighted the stark difference between the worlds of the rich and the poor. While the rich lived in luxury, the poor struggled to survive. However, everyone had one thing in common: the baths, the theaters, and the streets. Rome's vibrant spirit managed to bring these two worlds together. That's how a day in Rome went by. Our next video will cover Commander Hannibal, who brought difficult times to Rome. To continue joining us on this journey through history, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Also, mention the topics you'd like to see in the comments. See you in a new video from the ancient world.